Hey there kids, this is Math Recovery. Right above this video you will see a black button. If you press it you'll get this worksheet right here. And I'm going to do the first 3 problems on the worksheet. You can do 3 or 4 each night. The answer key is attached. And when you're ready you can let me know and you can test out and I'll give you a lemon drop, okay? Alright, well today we have a fraction that is not reduced. It's not in simplest form. Now, on the last worksheet, we worked on equivalent fractions, and there is an endless number of bigger fractions that you can make, but there's only one fraction that is as small as you can make it. Sometimes they call it reduced, sometimes they call it simplified, sometimes they call it putting it in the lowest terms, and that's what we're going to do. Here we have 8/64ths. And we want to reduce this, and to do this we're going to find something called the greatest common factor. Okay, and we're going to divide the top number and the bottom number by the same thing. When we made equivalent fractions, we multiplied the top and the bottom by the same thing. But today we're doing the opposite. So we need to find the factors of 8 and we need to find the factors of 64. So let's do that. The factors of 8, you might remember a factor rainbow. It's 1 and 8, 2 times 4. Those are the only ways that you can make 8. 1 times 8 or 2 times 4. Now, 64 is different though. 64 has a lot of things. And let's start doing those, okay? To make 64, you can go 1 and 64. 2. And half of this here would be 32. Okay? 3. Can you think of something that 64 is divisible by 3? 64 divided by 3? No, there isn't anything. Okay? But how about 64 divided by 4? That's a tough one, but it's 16. Okay? So right here, we can write down 4 and 16. Now you might notice that I'm going from the smallest to the biggest. Okay, they always have a match, a small number and a big number. Okay, 5 and nothing, because you know that everything that ends in that's multiple of 5 would be either end in a 5 or a 0. Okay, 6 and nothing, 7 and nothing. But how about 8 times 8? That would make 64, right? So we have 1 and 64. 2 times 32, 4 times 16, and 8 times 8. Now we need to find something on the top shelf and something on the bottom shelf that match, okay? There's a 1, so 1 is a common factor. There's a 2, so 2's are a common factor. There's 4's, 4's are a common factor. And there's 8's, 8's are a common factor. Now, this is called the greatest common factor. So we want the one of these that's the biggest, and that turns out to be 8. So we're going to come up here and not multiplying this time, but we're going to divide this time because we want to make the fractions smaller. So we're going to divide by 8, and down here we're going to divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 64 divided by 8 is 8. And so we come up with right here that 8/64 is the same thing as 1/8. But 1/8 is a lot easier to imagine. It is now simplified. It's now in lowest terms. It's now been reduced. Now you can check if you are correct or not by cross multiplying because you want to make sure these are equivalent fractions. 64 times 1, that's 64, and 8 times 8, that's 64, and so we do have a match right there. So 8/64ths simplified is 1/8. Okay, go ahead and try some of these. The answer key is attached. When you think you know how to do it, come see me and you can earn a lemon drop. See you later, kids.